All right, here we are at the Gretsch booth, NAMM 2020 for Longer McQuade, and we're standing here in the Electromatic section of the Gretsch booth, where we have the majority of the new products for this year. The one I'm holding is the newly upgraded Electromatic BT Double Jet, and this is one of the 4 new colors that we've introduced in this upgrade of this series. So it's a familiar double cutaway jet style, but we have now upgraded it with a mahogany body, a chambered mahogany body. It's got an arched maple top, mahogany neck, and the familiar Duojet headstock at the top there with die-cast tuners. And bound on the headstock, the previous models haven't been. The BT in the name means Broadtron, which refers to the Broadtron pickups. So these Broadtron pickups are slightly wider magnetic field than the regular Gretsch Filtertrons. And as such have a fuller, a richer sound, but still with the clarity and fidelity and punch that you expect to get from Gretsch, the famous Gretsch sound, just a little bit fuller and fatter, if you like that sort of thing for your rock tones. This one has our V stop tailpiece on it, and our classic control setup of a volume per pickup, and a master tone here, and then up here a master volume to control your overall output. This one set off with a black pickguard, and black back and sides as well, painted back and sides. Probably a familiar look to many of you on this particular model. I'm sure you appreciate what I'm talking about there with this particular iconic imagery on this guitar. But we also have 3 other lovely finishes. This one, named by American colleagues as London Grey, so makes me feel right at home. It's a metallic grey finish, a lovely rich sort of finish, and that's finished all over in that same colour, all the way up the back of the neck. With those same features I spoke about. Treble bleed on the master volume, I don't know if I mentioned that. The other 2 finishes, another metallic finish, which is jade grey metallic. Try and keep that get that in the light, try and show you how that kind of shimmers under the lights there. And finally, probably my other favourite colour other than the natural, is this walnut stain. So you can see the wood grain through there. And as I picked this one up, this one's a particularly light example, so it's really good to get down to your local store and try these things out. Pick them up, play them, and have a look at those finishes. Those metallic finishes particularly, you really get in the flesh, they look amazing. So that's the new Electromatic Double Jet models. We also have some new models in the Electromatic Center Block range. So these are the Center Block Juniors. These were introduced last year. We did the gold-plated hardware with the green and the blue and the orange finishes. So now we've introduced the nickel-plated hardware with 3 new finishes on this. So just to remind you all that the center block on all Gretsch center block guitars is a spruce center block, and they're always chambered as well. So we chamber them for 2 reasons. Firstly, to get more air moving inside the guitar, because all our hollow body guitars and semi-hollow, and of course even the solid guitars, as I said, they're chambered. The air moving inside them is what gets that full, rich Gretsch tone that we all love and familiar with. So this one has the chambered center block. The other advantage, of course, a bit of weight relief. So you've got a really nicely weighted guitar here. This one again features those Broadtron pickups. And the Bigsby License B70 unit there. Same control layout with a treble bleed. On these ones we also have a Graphtec new bone nut at the top here, and that classic Gretsch headstock, medium jumbo frets, thin line body, and this particular one again in that jade metallic, which is beautiful finish. We also have this one available in the metallic Casino Gold. I really urge you to get down to your local store to see these guitars, because metallic finishes just look so amazing when you're looking directly at them. I hope the light is picking this one up well for you down the camera there. And finally, and again metallic, because we're really loving our metallic finishes right now, deep cherry metallic. It's a really classy, understated but just really beautiful finish. Goes all the way up the neck. There's that age binding as well, really sets off that finish. Next up, so that's the Electromatic Center Block Juniors. So next up, what should we look at next? Let's look at these guitars here. So it's an extension to our hollow body range. These are what we're calling the rat rods. So the rat rod concept being like stripped back, the hot rod guitar kind of stripped back and made really kind of a working rock and roll machine. So all these guitars have satin finishes. So they're really going to, the idea with these is, as I say, a rock and roll machine. They're going to look and sound just really rough and ready, dirty rock and roll tone machines. So the satin finish, as well as the thinner body, contributes to that, the sound of that as well. The thinner body gives you a bit more, it gives a bit more spank to the sound. Gives a bit more attack, a bit more immediacy, and also a little bit easier to get your arm around as well because they're a little bit thinner. So that's 2 1/4 inches. The regular hollow body models are 2 3/4 inches. Doesn't sound like much, but when you pick it up, you really notice the difference. And we have, just for fun, put these red inserts on there to give it a really unique, cool, hot-rodded look. And other than that, all the features are what you come to expect from our Electromatic hollow body range. So a secured bridge on there, you've got the treble bleed on the master volume, you've got the Graphtec new bone nut, there's a colour matched headstock there. This one particularly, of course, is a white, vintage white satin finish, but we've done the black binding on there for a nice bit of contrast. The other finishes we have are the Phantom metallic, but again, it's a metallic, but it's satin. So a really cool finish there. Both those guitars have the black pickguard with the black plastic parts, medium jumbo frets, rosewood fretboards on these. And then the last one is the satin black. And on this one we decided to go with the red pickguard just for a bit of contrast, and again really looks like, gives that hot rodded kind of feel to it. Really great guitars, and a little bit less, because satin finish, you can get them a little bit less than the regular 5420s. These are the 5410s. They're just a little bit fewer dollars, and you get a lot of bang for your buck on these guitars. So really awesome. Try them out at your store. And then lastly, on the Electromatic world, for the new products, we have our new Baritone range. Baritone guitars seeing a real resurgence in popularity lately. For their different sort of tonal texture. You can use them in recording for building up the sound, giving a different texture to the sound, or you can use them to fatten out the band. You can, like if you have a bass and a lead guitar and then you put a baritone in the middle, you get this huge fat sound going on. Lots of tuning options. On our baritones we've chosen to go with a 29.75 inch scale length. So that they come tuned B to B, but with that long scale length you also get the option to tune it down to E. So you can use it kind of like a 6-string bass, get that tic-tac sound, or you could tune it down to A, or you could do the other option a lot of people are doing is tune it like a 7-string guitar, but take the top string off. So you've got kind of B, E, A, and so forth. Lots of options to play around with and get new inspiration for your musicality. We have 2 models with the Bixby. So this one's Airline Silver. And then we have a black one. I don't need to show you the black one, but I'm going to pick up the non-Bixby version now. So we've introduced also the non-Bixby version with our V-stop tailpiece on there. The non-Bixby ones have the block inlays. The Bixby ones have the classic Gretsch thumbnail inlays. Pickups on all of these guitars are the Gretsch mini humbuckers, which were the same mini humbuckers as on our previous baritone. We did try out a load of different pickups with this baritone guitar, but we came back to these because they just sound great in this context, in the baritone context. So yeah, mahogany bodies, mahogany neck, bolt-on but matched neck to the body. And with the stop tail version we have this deep cherry metallic. We have, let's try and get that off there, the jade grey metallic again, with those silver pick guards to complement the finish really nicely. And then finally on the stop tail we have that London grey, and this time we've gone with the black pick guard on there, just for a little difference in aesthetic. And again, London grey making me feel right at home. Oh, it's already got a chip on that. Look, this is official NAMM damage, folks, right there. You can see what's going on here at the busy NAMM show. It's only the first day and it was already crazy here. So that's the Electromatic Gretsch stuff at NAMM 2020, and we'll go over there and look at some more stuff. All right then, we've moved over to the Streamliner corner of the Gretsch booth, and what we've got here is a brand new Streamliner solid body model we're calling the Junior Jet Club. So you remember we introduced the Streamliner models back in 2016. We had a hollow body model, we had a center block model, and a center block junior model. So it's high time we introduced a solid body model to complement those. And as I say, we're calling this the Junior Jet Club. And it's basically a really stripped down rock and roll machine. This particular one in gold dust, a metallic gold dust. These are solid NATO bodies and solid NATO necks. NATO being a relative of mahogany, it has a very similar tonal response and similar weight and consistent weight to them. Very simple setup, pickup selector, master volume in our traditional position there, a master tone. We have this very cool wraparound bridge. Again, it's all about being simple, it's all about being rock and roll. Wraparound bridge, it is intonated and you can adjust it with the grub screws if you want to change the gauge, the strings or whatever. We have this kind of classy little raised up pick guard here with the bracket rather than just screwing it to the body, just gives a little of that Gretsch class tortoiseshell on these models. The pickups are the Streamliner Broadtron pickups, so again, those wider magnetic field gives it a fuller sound while retaining the clarity, the fidelity that you expect from a Gretsch product. Medium jumbo frets, bound fretboard, classic Durajet headstock. And as I say, that's the gold dust model. We also have this really lovely metallic finish, gunmetal. Again, I'll try and move that around. You're getting blues and greys and greens in that finish. Really lovely finish, which we like so much. We're going to put it on several of the other Streamliner models this year as well. The hollow body models getting this color, the left-handed models getting this color. So, yeah, all sorts of guitars in this finish now, which is really beautiful. Again with that tortoiseshell pickguard, again with that wraparound bridge. Really cool. One of my favorite colors is vintage white. So on the vintage white model, we've changed the plastic parts to cream, just to complement the finish. Changed the knobs to gold instead of black on the other models. And tortoiseshell always goes well with vintage white. It's just a great combination. Again, those Streamliner Broadtron pickups on that one. And my other favorite finish, if I can have two favorites. Am I allowed two favorites? I think so. Imperial Stain. So this is a stained finish. Shows that wood grain. You can see how similar that wood grain is to mahogany. And the Imperial Stain finish just gives a real rustic look. And as I say, stripped down rock and roll machine is what these things are all about. And this really gives off that vibe. And it's that same stain all over, all down the neck. So super cool, a lot of guitar for your dollar here. I can see these guitars being rocked on many stages. As backup guitars, as main guitars, you can see them modding them, putting stickers on them, doing all the things you want to do with a rock and roll guitar. So that is the new Streamliner Junior Jet Club range of guitars. And now we'll go and look at some Players Edition. Okay, we've moved over to the professional collection section of Gretsch now, which is our flagship models made in Japan, and this is the Broadcaster Junior. So we've added a few new colors to our Broadcaster Junior models. Just a reminder that the junior part of that means that the body is smaller. It doesn't refer to a beginner or starter guitar or anything. It just means the body is smaller than our regular hollow bodies and center block models. So it's 14 inches across. Really useful for those guys and gals who are used to maybe a solid body guitar, Tele or a Strat or some other brand of solid body guitar, and they want to get the look and feel of a hollow body guitar without having to have a huge guitar to get your arm around. So these are really manageable, very ergonomic, still with the look, imagery and that sound. As I said earlier, we have the spruce center block, which is chambered, even from the Streamliner range to the Electromatic and all the way up to the professional collection. It's always a spruce block which is chambered. These particular guitars, as the professional collection center blocks, all have Gretsch USA made Fulltron pickups, which again have the very familiar Filtertron sound, but with a little more output and the upper mid-range punch to them. So great for overdriving the amplifier. And on this one, brand new color. So as I say, we introduced 3 brand new colors this year on this. This is Roundup Orange, which is a beautiful sort of reddy brown orange, and called Roundup Orange as a nod to the guitars of the 50s that were called the Roundup, and they would often be in this browny orange color, which I think is beautiful. Really set off by the tortoiseshell pickguard. Those Gretsch fans out there will be very familiar with this color combination. This is two-tone smoke green. So you have the lighter green on the top, you have the darker green on the back and sides with the matching pickguard there. And you'll know this from the anniversary model. Our anniversary model has been running since 1958. It's probably the longest anniversary model in the history of mankind, and we still run it. There's an anniversary right over there. But we've taken that colour scheme, that famous anniversary colour scheme, and moved it on to this Broadcaster Junior model. As I should remind you that these Broadcaster Juniors are all part of the Players Edition range of guitars. They all have modern player-centric upgrades. You have a string-through Bigsby, you have locking tuners, you've got shallow strap locks, you've got treble bleed on the master volume, you've got a no-load tone control, you've got a Graphtec Tusk XL nut. All of these features combine to make a really great player's guitar. Every song, every night, all that sort of thing. You can play it just for anything you want, and it will always give back what you give it. So that's the two-tone smoke green. Finally, for the new colours on these Broadcaster Junior, I really love this combination. This is a brand new combination in Gretsch world, although we've used the individual colours before. Lotus Ivory on the top, and then walnut stain on the back and sides. I really love the contrast between that dark walnut stain and the lighter ivory here. Just beautiful. Walnut stain all over the back and up the neck, with that aged binding and the purfling there. You see the locking tuners up the top. And really complemented by the tortoiseshell pickguard. Again, you've got those Gretsch USA-made Fulltron pickups and the string-through B7 Bigsby. Just superb guitars for the money. Will play pretty much any sort of music you throw at it. As I say, ergonomic because of the smaller body. Just really beautiful guitars. Then sticking with the Player's Edition, we go to the Jets. So again, as Player's Edition models, they have string-through Bigsby, they have the shallow strap locks, the locking tuners, all of those upgrades I spoke about. But these being the Jet models, are part of our solid body range. And again, I'm going to do that with solid body because these are actually chambered. All Gretsch guitars, which we call solid body models, are actually chambered, with the exception of those Streamliners I talked about earlier and the Electromatic Baritones. But in the Pro Series, if we call it a solid body model, they are solid, but they're chambered. They have extensive chambering inside. Moving a lot of air around inside the body gives it that really full and clear tone that Gretsch is known for. These being the Jets, these have Gretsch Filtertrons. These are FT Jets. The FT means Filtertron, so they come with the Bigsby. We also have BT Jets, which come with the Broadtron without the Bigsby. But on this particular one, again, that round-up orange. So really evocative of those original guitars back in the 50s. The Roundup, which was the 6130 model back in those days, and natural mahogany back and sides. It's a nice contrast, and then a colour-matched headstock with the Roundup orange on there. And then finally, for new colours, again on the Players Edition FT Jet. Gretsch, of course, well known for their sparkle finishes, particularly the silver sparkle. But this red sparkle we haven't done for quite a long time, so we thought it was high time to bring it back. And that is a proper sparkle with a big flake sparkle on there. So really beautiful finish. And again, this is that Players Edition Jet with all those feature upgrades I spoke about, chambered body, and these are the Gretsch Filtertrons. Treble bleed on the master volume, no low tone control. I've said that all before. You know what it's all about. These are great guitars. And that is the new finishes on the Players Edition. So, Gretsch guitars NAMM 2020, that's the new stuff. Hope you enjoyed it. Leave any comments, go into the store, have a look at these things. They're all great looking in the flesh, so go and try them out. And thanks for your time. Cheers.
Thanks for watching. To be notified of more videos from our trip to NAMM this year, subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon. Leave a comment or question below and check out our video playlist of all the latest and greatest products at NAMM.